Hey, it's Ray here, and as you know, I have spent many years working with business owners all across the country, helping them with their video marketing so that they can make more sales of their products and services. Well, back in the day, it was very difficult to create video, especially animation. You needed all sorts of specialty tools, you needed a lot of training, and you needed a lot of time. Well, over the years, this has changed and become a lot easier for anybody to do. And that's why I am super excited to tell you about a new version of a product called Viddyoze. Now, you may remember Viddyoze as a product that allowed you to create things like animated lower thirds or animated logos, and it was very simple to use. Well, they're back with an all-new version that gives you way more templates to choose from, works even quicker, even simpler, and anybody can create animated logos, intros, outros, animated lower thirds, backgrounds, and a whole lot more. In fact, I really should be upset about this because I have spent many years selling animated logos to businesses across the country, and this required me to use After Effects, which can be a pretty expensive program, and it can be a program that's very difficult to learn and takes a long time. Well, now with Viddyoze, you can very simply add in a logo, add in some text, hit a button, and you've pretty much done exactly what I used to do for, a lot more money and requiring a lot more skills and a lot more education and a lot more software. So what I've decided to do is, rather than complain about this, I'm going to compare with you how it used to be done, or how I still currently doing it really, versus how it's done in Viddyoze, and you'll be able to see not only how much quicker and easier it can be done, but the quality can still be the same, and anybody can do this. So let's take a look at the comparison between After Effects and Viddyoze. Okay, so we're going to go over the old way of creating animated logos versus the new way using Viddyoze. And so what I'm doing here is I'm actually on the Envato Marketplace. This is VidyoHive, VidyoHive.net, and I found a little template here that I want to use for the escape room, and we're going to play this just so you can kind of get an idea. So this is kind of what it looks like, Indiana Jones inspired. Okay, kind of cool.
Audio Jungle.
Kind of fun, and it actually has a couple of different versions, like this one without lights and whatnot, but you get the idea. So we're going to use that one there. I've already downloaded that to my hard drive. Now notice this costs $20, so every time you want to do one of these, it's going to cost you somewhere around 20 bucks to do it. And that means if you do 10 of these, you're already at $200. Okay. On top of that, you also have to have After Effects, which is part of the Adobe Suite, which is going to cost you probably $50 a month or so to have that as well. So you're going to be paying $50 for 1 month. If you do one of these in 1 month, you're going to be paying $50 plus $20, so $70 to do it, and then $20 for each additional one, plus you're paying again next month for the Adobe Suite. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Adobe Suite and I highly recommend it to everybody. But obviously this is going to get a little bit expensive to do these versus Viddyoze, where you can get that on special and be able to start creating some of these immediately. Now, if we come down here, the other thing to note is that one had some nice music. However, the music is, it looks like this is the music here. So, and actually the music that they had, it is gone. They don't even have that one anymore, which is fine because we'd probably use our own anyway. Let's see. Preview music. This is from Getty, which I don't even know if I want to look at that because that's going to be... Oh, actually, no. Okay.
Audio Jungle.
Okay, so that's some sort of an ambient tomb noise, so $4 to be able to add that into there. Silent sounds, again, they've got another one in here. So theoretically, if you used all of their...
Audio Jungle.
So if you used all of their stuff, you're talking about another $14, so $34 now, plus the cost of After Effects. Okay, now the other thing to note is with this one here, they do use a font from DaFont, which is fine. DaFont is free, so that's not a big deal, but we can grab that font here. So before we get started, we're going to download this. And this is the case with most of the ones that you get from VidyoHive. You're going to have to go in and get the font. So we're going to take that, and we're going to go to our downloads here, Face Your Fears font, And we'll just double click that and add that in there. So that's going to install that into our system, which is a nice little font anyway. So I'm glad to have that on. So now we're going to need to get into After Effects. Now I'm actually going to quit out of After Effects and then reopen it, only because I want to make sure that our font does indeed show up, which it probably would have, but sometimes you have to restart these things to do that. We've downloaded the template right here. So we're going to double click that to open it up. And when we do, you'll see that you got a few different things in here. You got different versions, lights with plugins, lights, and then just one called Come Up, which I assume is the one without the lights. We're going to use this one here that uses the lights but does not use plugins for that. Because that's the other thing too. If you use the one with plugins, you're going to have the plugin, which, you know, some of these plugins could cost $200 for all you know. Some of them are much cheaper, but some of them do cost a lot of money. So we're going to do the one without that here, and you can see it needs to be converted. Yep, that's fine. And it's going to open that up here, and it looks like it's also using another font called Century, which it didn't mention in there. Now we could go out and we could try to find that font Century. I'm just going to hit OK and see what we get, and if we want to change the text in there at all, we can still do that with some sort of font that we have. So you can see here, this is the template here, just like we saw. Okay, now you can go through, you can see all this stuff in here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now is where you got to not only pay for After Effects, but you got to know how to use After Effects. So this is not going to be just as simple as, you know, choosing your logo and hitting go. We need to be able to change the text on here, and we're going to need to add in our logo. So what we're going to do is we're going to find that in here. Now, when you download a template, these templates can often be very different, different setups. You know, every artist could create it a different way. So we're going to hit this here to see. Nope, that's not going to open that up there. Logo placeholder. They've actually got that open, so they keep it nice and easy. They've got a safe zone in there. The beautiful thing was in that template, it was a very square logo, which is exactly what we're going to be putting on there, is a nice square logo. And so I'm going to come out here and find our logo, which I believe is in here. One of these drives. Which one is it? There it is. Impossible Escape. And open up our logos right here. Okay. Logo. And we're going to use the PNG version of the logo and go with, I think this one right here. Okay. So we're going to take that and we're just going to drag that into After Effects. So you can see it fits in there, but we can go bigger and move it around a little bit. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and fit it into that square just like so. It's nice that they put that little safe zone. A lot of people don't do that, and you kind of have to guess, but this helps you to really make sure that you get it in there. I'm going to leave a tiny bit of room just to see what that looks like. And so now we can go back to our ancient places here. We'll go towards the end, and there it is. It's Impossible Escape, which is kind of cool. So that looks pretty good. I like that. We need to change the text in here. They do have a tab open that says text placeholder, so it actually is fairly easy. The good thing with this one is they've made it easy by having those tabs open and labeling them properly. Many templates do not do that, and you'll be spending 20 minutes just surfing around this project trying to figure out what's what. Usually you'll find some of the things in here, but these guys have made it nice and easy for us. We're going to change this text here. I'm just going to put escape room. Hopefully that fits. And doesn't quite fit, so I'm going to kern that up just a little bit. And then down here, we've got this text here, so I'm going to put, oops, double click that, there we go. Impossible Escape. Oh, if I can type. Okay, so that fits in there too. And so now we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at that again. And you can see escape room, impossibleescape.com. It's a little long, tough to read because of that. And that font does not look good. So we're going to play around with that a little bit. We're going to come back into here. And again, I'm going to, even though they tell you that's where it should be, I'm going to kern this in even further. And the bottom one, same thing, just because we want to keep it in there. But also we want to change that font. That font is not very cool, and tomb-like. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to find a new font that might fit that a little bit better. Let's go up to the top because we got some fun fonts in here that could make this a little cooler. Let's see. That one is called American Captain. It's probably a little too modern, a little too much for that. So we're going to mess around with this until we get a good one. Aldo the Apache. All right, that's kind of interesting. So maybe we'll try that one and see what that one looks like. We'll change this one as well. Oops. Aldo the Apache. I'm just going to type in Aldo. Oh. Apparently it wasn't Aldo. All right, we'll just find it here. Oh, maybe it's Aido the Apache. Okay, so escape room, impossibleescape.com. Let's take a look and see what that looks like, see if that looks any better. Yeah, I think that's a little cooler. So we're going to go with that there. And so now we're all set with this, and we can come in and we can make a few other changes here. For instance, this is kind of a greenish blue, but maybe we don't like the greenish blue color, so we should be able to change that in this panel here. Let's see, effects, lights and colors. So we can change this. Maybe we're going to go with like a reddish orange. A darker red. Maybe not red. Something a little bit more, like maybe right about there. It's pretty good. Okay, that kind of matches our colors a little bit better. And so now we've got this cool animation. Boom, there it is. And impossible escape. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to render this out. Now, in the case of After Effects, you got a lot of different options for that. They've got a render queue right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our main tab here with our main project. And we're going to go to composition. We're going to go to, we're going to go to add to render queue. And we can give this a name and choose the location we want it to go in. In this case here, I'm just going to put this out to the desktop for now. We can move it later. And I'm just going to call it IE for Impossible Escape Pillar, since there's a giant pillar in there. Okay, I'm going to hit save with that. And now we want to make sure that we've got our settings proper here. So we're going to come in here and take a look at this. There's a lot of different options in here. We're going to go with 25 frames per second, which is cool. That gives it that film look. Resolution full, okay. Best quality. You can choose different types of qualities in there. You can choose different types of resolution. We want the full resolution. And this is going to be 1920 by 1080. Okay, you can come down here. You can make any other changes that you want to. For the most part, this is good the way it is. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to come down to our output module. And here we could choose what we want it to output as. In this case here, I'm going to leave it at QuickTime. Okay. Post-render action, we're not going to do anything, but you could have it import somewhere. You could, there's a few different things you could have it do once it's done. In here, RGB is good because there's no alpha channel on that. If this was an animated logo with no background and you were going to layer it over something else, this is where you would come in here and you could choose RGB and alpha, and it's going to put out an alpha channel. If you chose that now, it's just going to be, the alpha channel is just going to be a white box for the whole screen. You can choose millions of colors, which is, of course, what we want there. Pre-multiplied matte, you can leave all that alone there. There is no audio, so we're going to have to add audio later. And so we can leave that the way that is, hit OK, and now we can hit render. Now, depending upon the template, this could take anywhere from just a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. But here's where the using After Effects kind of falls down for you a little bit. It's going to take some processing power to create these. And that means that while this is going, your computer's going to slow down to a crawl. And if it's a long, hard one with 3D lights and everything else, you could be locking up your computer for the next 2 hours. If you got a slower computer, it could be even longer than that. Fortunately, my computer's pretty fast and usually gets these done in, anywhere from 2 minutes to half hour for most of these. But during that time, your computer is kind of useless. You might as well go out and get lunch. If you're using something like Viddyoze, all of this rendering is being done on render farms somewhere else in the world. It doesn't affect your computer at all. You can go back to doing whatever it was you were doing while that renders, somewhere else. And when it's done, they're just going to let you know. And here, I don't know if once this 3D thing gets up here, this may actually slow down. And you can see that light disappeared. Now we're moving quick again because we're only seeing one of the lights. And you can see, depending on what's being done on the screen, is going to affect how fast that is now. When we get to this part here, the real-time textures on there with the escape room and impossibleescape.com is going to slow it down when that 3D thing pops up there. Fortunately, it only shows up at the end. That's probably going to slow it down a little bit. But so far, it's saying that we've done 1 minute and almost a minute and a half. And with a minute remaining, I have a feeling that last minute's going to be a little bit longer as the lights take over more of the screen. And as the 3D model comes out here, that's probably going to slow it down a little bit. But again, this one here, not too bad, only about 2 to 3 minutes to get it done. So we're just going to stay with it. Otherwise, I would pause and come back. Here we go. There's the light. Now you can see the frames are slowing down a little bit as it does this. Slowing down just a little bit. But still pretty darn quick considering we get a lot of 3D effects. We get a lot of lighting effects going on. Very, very quick to render this out. But again, my computer would be very slowed down. Even watching a YouTube video could potentially be slowed down while this is being done. So if you got a long one, if you got a hard one, one with a lot of 3D, a lot of lights, that's a lot longer, you could be locking up your computer where you can't really do anything else for quite a while. Okay, so still we're at 2.5 minutes now, and it says we have a minute left. At a minute and a half, it said we had a minute left, so clearly it's slowed down quite a bit. So it looks like probably going to be about 4 or 5 minutes to get the whole thing done. But here it comes, the 3D model. So we're getting towards the end. And I can actually hear the computer slowing down. It was making a noise on each frame. Bzz, frame, bzz, frame, bzz, frame, and now it's doing bzz, frame, bzz. So it's definitely slowed down quite a bit. We're at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Still says we have a minute left to go. So like I said, about 4 or 5 minutes for this particular one. This one's not too bad. Yeah, it's got a 3D model. Yeah, it had a lot of lighting effects in it and whatnot, but it doesn't have a big background that has to be rendered. It doesn't have a lot of different 3D objects in there, so it's not too bad. And it looks like it's going to be done in, it's probably going to take a grand total of almost 4 minutes. Not too bad. It's about to come to an end here. There we go. Okay, and so now our video is done. Now, after this, we would want to take this, bring this video into Final Cut Pro or iMovie or ScreenFlow or whatever video editing program you use, add some music to it, sound effects, and then export it out, okay? So there we go. That's not too bad, but again, to recap, it took about 5 minutes to render where our computer was locked up. Some of these could take hours to be done if they're heavy-duty ones. It requires After Effects, which is about $50 a month, and it required a template that was $20. And if we get the music, it was another $14 to $20 for the music and the sound effects, and then that would make a complete project. So with that, let's compare that now to using Viddyoze for creating something else here. Now, obviously, Viddyoze is going to have different templates than what we had, but I found one here that I thought was kind of cool. There's a lot of different templates in here for doing logos. This is the logo area here. You've got a lot of other things you can do. We'll talk about that later. But for this one, we're just doing animated logos. So you can see this one here is kind of cool. That one might fit. I want to do something that's fairly similar in that it does cool effects and has a bit of 3D and lighting. This one here has a lot of that in it. So this might be a good one to use. Let's take a look at a couple more here. See if we can find a really cool one. Shattered glass, that can always be fun. Okay, let's see. Ooh, an explosion. So that one's got explosions and lots of lights. There's a race car. Car comes on. That could be kind of neat. Might not fit what we're doing, but that's a pretty cool one. Let's see, this one here, just a standard logo animation. Nice and simple and easy. That one there, that one's kind of cool. I kind of like that. It kind of lands in there. It's got a little bit of lighting effects. Doesn't have its 3D, so that one's a little simpler and a little shorter, but that might be a pretty good one to go with. So that's on page 2. We'll look at a couple more here. What do we got here? I'm always a sucker for these kinds of things. And that one's got a lot of effects. This one here, well, I kind of like this. That's a pretty neat one. I like that. Now, mind you, we can't count the time of searching for a template as a part of all this because I spent quite a bit of time on the other site looking for a template that we didn't show. So, but let me see. All right, I think we're going to go back. I think we like the one here on 2. Is it this one here? I believe. Yeah, I think we'll just go with this one. It's short. It's shorter than the one that we just did in After Effects, but it does have lighting effects and particle effects and things like that. Particle effects, by the way, can massively slow down a computer. Even though you'd think the 3D would be the big thing or the lighting effects, it's actually particles that can really slow it down. So we're going to hit that and we're going to customize it. Okay, and so now mind you, we're not using any fancy software for this. We're using what's built right in here. We're just going to hit, it asks for our logo. Okay, so we're going to upload our logo. And again, we'll use the exact same logo that we did in the other one. PNG, go with the yellow one, orangey one, just like so. So that's all set. Okay, so now we can choose our colors. So now what's cool with this is you can change these colors here. These are actually pretty close to our colors anyway. So I'm going to leave that as is. Although if I really wanted to, I could go in. Actually, no, you know what? Let me do. I'm going to actually go in and do this properly. If I'm going to do it, might as well do it correct because we're going to actually use this here. So I'm going to come in here into the working files and not the working files, the assets. You can see I've got a color palette here. I'm going to open this up. You can see we actually have the different colors that we use. And so if we want to use similar colors to what they had, 0095FF for the blue one. 0095FF. So we just come in here and change that to 0095FF. And that should give us that beautiful color there. Okay. And then for the orangey color, we're going to go with FF2D00. 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 And there we go. Okay. So now those are the two colors that we're going to use. Now as far as audio goes, the default audio, we can listen to that. That's good. I like that. So I think we're just going to stick with the default one. There's no reason not to. You get some sound effects too. Okay. And so now we can hit preview. And that's all we really have to do. No dealing with After Effects, no having to take a 2-year course on learning After Effects. We just do that and then we hit create. And in a few minutes, we're going to have a new video created. Now again, we don't have to do any of the work. You can see it says here queuing, so it's going to take a few minutes. There's nothing to see while we're doing that, but we can go about our business for the next few minutes and while that's being done. And it's not going to slow down our computer. We can go and do all the things we would normally do while we're waiting for that instead of having to sit around and play Gardenscapes or go get lunch while After Effects is rendering. So we'll give that a few minutes and we'll take a look at the final results. Okay, so it's been about 2 to 3 minutes and our video is done here. And during that time, I actually made a couple more that I will share on this page or on the bonus page at some point in time as well. But let's download this one here. We hit download, and you can see you can download an MP4 or an animated GIF. So I'm going to download the MP4, just like that. And I'm going to download the animated GIF as well, just because why not? It's there. Okay. And so now if we go back and we take a look at what we've got here in our downloads folder, you'll see, let's see, you can see I've downloaded a few different ones that were created in there. Let's find our right one. Cinematic Impact logo. Very cool. There you go. That is Quite honestly, I mean, that's just as nice and good as the one that we created with After Effects that took a lot longer and obviously would potentially cost a lot more money. Well, there you go. That is After Effects creating an animated logo versus Viddyoze creating an animated logo. And as you can see, the quality of both are right on par. Yes, the one that I created with After Effects is a little longer, but that just happened to be the template that I've chosen. You can actually make much longer videos inside of Viddyoze as well. But the great thing about this is not having to learn After Effects, not having to pay $50 a month to have After Effects, not having to pay $20 for every template that you get, plus another $4 or $5 for the music. With Viddyoze, you literally go in, pick the template that you like, drop in your logo, add in the text, and hit a button, and you are done. You've got your video, high quality, with music, all ready to go. So if you want to be able to do that, well, unfortunately, you have to wait a couple of days, but we do recommend that you join the webinar by clicking the link down below, and that will get you in so that you can see exactly how this works and how you can make money using this particular product. You can also check out all the samples that we've put together down below as well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know, and we'll see you at the webinar.